Welcome to Two Guys, Three Crowns, the podcast that talks about what it's really like to live in Stockholm, Sweden. I'm Sean, and with my fellow American Rodney, we break down the good, the bad, and the just plain weird. It's quite the journey, so join us for the ride. You can dance, having the time of your life. Ooh. See that girl on that screen? Dancing Queen? Is that how it goes?
I don't. You would think. Wait, let me check my tattoo. No, I don't know. The lyrics.
I thought it's in the DNA. It's in the blood.
It is kind of. When we started talking about opening song, we were like, okay, and the ABBA thing just, it feels natural, right? Because it's just, the news is all ABBA everything.
Yes, and for listeners who don't know, probably the ones who are in America, ABBA is coming out with their first album in, 40 years? They broke up in the 80s, like the early 80s, right?
Yeah.
And they're all like 70 now. It's still, all the music sounds the same. Like, I heard it the other day. I'm like, yep, that's ABBA. Like, It starts off with the keyboard, like the swipe right down the piano. Yeah. I'm like, yep, that's ABBA.
Yeah. I had mixed feelings about an ABBA song. And I think that, well, here's what it is. I love ABBA. And growing up, and when I came during the summers, and it was ABBA, and ABBA is easy to like. ABBA has great songs. ABBA pops up, at a house party or something, and it's easy to get into. But I feel like I'm kind of overdosed on ABBA. Unfortunately, nothing personal against ABBA. But with all the hype, Mamma Mia, I'm Mamma Mia out. It is, if our Netflix was a VHS tape, it would be busted because Mamma Mia has played.
Now, for all the younger listeners, there used to be these things called DVDs that was this weird metallic disc that you played movies on. And before that, it was on plastic tape. And that is a VHS.
Yeah.
Well, I will go there for you if you don't want to. ABBA is not my cup of tea.
Okay.
Like, the whole disco thing, like, it has its purpose. It can, like, you got to put it in, like, in certain situations.
Right.
For that disco feel, but I'm not about that life. And everyone around town's like, ABBA, ABBA. Yeah. I'm like, oh, God, they released another album? Oh, no.
Yeah. It was the feeling that I get is, had they done it, I don't know, like maybe 15 years ago or something, just kind of, undercover and just out of the blue, and they're back and boom. But it's been leaking, stuff has been leaking out.
Really? I didn't know about this.
Oh, yeah.
See, you're in the Swedish underground scene. I'm not even close to that level.
Yeah. And so it's been kind of leaking out, and, I wasn't completely caught off guard. It would have been nice, but now with the internet, right? Now with stuff flying out all over the place.
Well, that's part of the marketing, because you got to get your streams, and you're going to get the most album streams in like the first month. So you gotta work that Donda hype, man.
Yeah. And they're all over. They were Instagram, and yesterday I was on TikTok, and I scroll down, and all of a sudden, and I don't know if it's Björn or Benny. I feel really bad about that. It used to be that one of them had a beard and one of them didn't, and then they both have beards. So now I can't tell which one is which. But all of a sudden he pops up like in my TikToks, the feed, and I'm sitting there going, wow. Just boom, all over the place, just everywhere.
I love how you're getting your Swedish news from other old guys on TikTok. It's just like, it's this perfect microcosm of everything.
Yeah, it is. But it's gonna, it'll It'll be fun. I went in, listened to 2 of the songs. It definitely has the 2 songs that they've released so far.
It sounds like ABBA.
It sounds like ABBA. It's a nice, safe, ABBA, ballad kind of thing.
Well, that's the thing. That's what they do. Now they have that sound, and then they just the records tend to be kind of that sound. So
now, isn't George Lucas? George Lucas is involved.
Oh yes, I've heard about this. Now George Lucas, no, but what do they call it? What's the company?
Lucas
Light Industry, Light Magic, whatever that company is that does the technology stuff.
Yeah.
The ones that did like the crazy back projection in Mandalorian.
Exactly.
Yeah. So yeah, they're doing, I saw it on the news and I was like, whoever came up with this term needs to be hung up, shot, and burned, and they shall never exist again. Avatars.
Exactly.
Not avatars. No. Avatars. I'm like, guys, no, never again.
So ABBA is going to be in London, in England.
Yes, virtually.
In concert,
like
but not there. Okay, sure. Yeah, well.
Yeah, I guess. You must have to have like some crazy laser light show to justify people paying money to go to a concert and you're not even there.
Getting paid. I mean, just...
It's like, for anyone who understood the VHS reference, there was also, if you remember, this thing called Windows Media Player. And you could set it to do weird screensaver stuff while your music was playing. And it was like all trippy fractals and all that. Man, kids nowadays, they don't know. They don't know.
You don't know what you're missing.
But I would say, don't know what I'm missing. I do know what I'm missing of what you did today.
Oh, yeah.
I do know and I don't know. I do know what it is, but I don't know how it works at all.
No. I was there for about 2.5 hours, and I still don't really know how it works. But so just to fill listeners in, today I went to my first cricket match.
Yeah, British baseball.
And
supposedly.
Cricket match, yes. I've done some design work with uniforms for a team up here in Stockholm, and they had an important match today, and I decided to go ahead and hop on the car and head up there. Great weather for any kind of sport.
Now, where was it?
It was Skarpnäck.
Okay, I've seen that. Well, it's north for you. Head up there. For me, it's like heading down. But
right.
Yeah. Somewhere in the middle between the two of us.
Exactly. But I went up there, and it was, I mean, as I guess it's natural to try and find things that are like some similarities in a sport that you already understand, say baseball. So, I'm thinking baseball. The only stuff on cricket I know is I've gone in and tried to watch YouTube, like learn the sport, learn the basics.
No, man. It ain't happening.
And it was still kind of way out there. So I thought, I'll go, I'll sit down, I'll watch, and I'll learn as I go. It wasn't really happening. But I did gain a new respect for cricket ball, for the actual ball. Because if you watch, that thing is about, for some reason I thought it was smaller, but it's almost the size of a baseball. And it felt like twice as hard.
Yeah.
I mean, it was.
And they're ripping that thing, and it's bouncing off the ground and all that stuff. It's wild.
Well, the clips and the things that I've watched, I see a ball get hit, and I'm like, why'd the guy miss the ball? Or there's a fly ball. Hey, how could you drop the ball? There's no glove. I mean, there's no glove. The only person that has the glove is the catcher guy.
Yeah.
But everybody...
the one who stands in that specific spot. Everyone's standing everywhere to begin with. You're like, wait, they're all wearing white. They're all over the place. What are we doing here, people?
Yeah. And I brought a chair with me. And I asked the guy right before the match started, I'm like, okay, where's a good place to sit? And he was like, well... And he looks around because it's basically... It's kind of it's not an oval. It's like the shape of a racehorse track, kind of like long, and then around the which is oval.
Like an oval.
I guess. Okay. But I'm asking him, okay, where's a good place to? And I was like, where's like the least chance of getting hit by a by a ball or a stray
Yeah,
ball?
there's no like sitting behind home plate, that
There's no place to hide.
you're highway to the danger zone right now, my friend.
Hey, I was sitting next to a garbage can. I was thinking, okay, worst case scenario.
Use it as a helmet.
Yeah, I'll just grab the top of this garbage can. And it wasn't that bad. It definitely, I was paying attention to the game because I figure if that thing comes flying, I don't want to be the next YouTube
Well,
clip
here's
of
the
it.
thing. I lived in London for a year. And while I was there, my boss was telling, because I was talking to him, I'm like, he's going, please explain to me why you people eat Hershey's chocolate. We think it tastes like trash. We only eat Swiss chocolate in Europe. I'm like, oh God, whatever. You grow up with it. And then I'm like, you're trashing my chocolate. Can you please explain to me this bizarro sport you guys have called cricket? There's no crickets. There's no bugs.
No.
Like, what is it? And he's like,
Cricket.
all you need to know is if you go as a spectator, because you're never going to understand it enough to be a player as an American. Forget about that life. He's like, you go as a spectator and you just basically drink all day in the stands. I'm like, okay. And they just go on forever. He's like, yes, they go on forever because you're drinking all day.
Okay.
Now, you're telling me about you're trying to be hyper focused and watching out for that ball coming flying at you. I'm like, as a spectator at cricket, these things seem like they're not. But maybe if you drink enough, then you don't feel it when it whacks you in the head.
Well, the thing about it is, I don't think that the ball traveled, like let's call it a home run, but it didn't. just for my reference, let's call it a home run. But there were very few balls that were hit that far. There were a lot of ground balls and a lot of things, and they were basically. I mean, the guy would turn and he would hit it to like 6 o'clock. I mean, he could hit the ball behind him and to the side. There is no place that you can't hit the ball in cricket. So,
it's totally, it messes with your brain, man. And then there's just like, you have the like, what do they call it? The wicket. And there's like 3 sticks in the ground.
Yeah.
And then there's 2 dudes playing Red Rover between the 2 of them.
Right.
It's like, what kind of crazy ghetto stickball is this?
Yeah. But I mean, it was cool to watch. What I wish is, because there was nobody, there weren't any spectators. It was like me. It was me and my little portable,
and your kit,
my like, portable
hey
lawn
guys,
chair.
Here, take a business card.
Yeah, and I didn't know. I kind of waited for everybody else to cheer. Like, oh yeah, that's because I didn't know what I was cheering for.
Oh, that's great. That's fantastic.
But it was. I mean, it was fun. The thing about it was, I thought that I would stay to see both sides hit.
Nah, man.
And
they're still playing. Playing.
But in baseball, you have innings. It's like, the chain, the teams are changing, it's one turn and then it's the other turn. Hey, I was there for an hour and a half ish plus. Yeah. And it was still the one side had been up there hitting the whole time. So they eventually switched. I stayed for a little bit, but wow. Yeah. What I did miss though is to sit next to somebody that could kind of fill you in a little bit as you...
I can tell you, I lived in London, man. There's no amount of British people or experts that can explain this to an American. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've sat next to people when I was involved with American football up in Stockholm. Mm-hmm. We had really great commentators. We had one guy that was fantastic, Henrik. Really great commentator. And what he would do without making it boring for other people that actually understood the sport is he would fill in, as he commentated, he would kind of explain a little bit why something happened or, so he would actually get people in, because if you can't get people to understand the game, they'll come and check it out. But
yeah, I mean, there's so many like crazy rules now with, even the NFL football is just like, what can you touch this person at this point? Can you not? Pass interference? And
Sure. But with American football, what I realized is I would tell people the four attempts to get 10 yards. And I'm like, they're trying to get from that flag to that flag.
Yeah.
And as long as you can do that, then people have a basic understanding of what, and then you can go deeper and say, okay, you can throw, you can run it, you can do this and that. But
it's not as easy as European football where you go, the ball has to go in the net. If you do that, 1 point.
Yeah. Hey, one of my big hang-ups with soccer, with football, was that the scores were always so low. And I guess that's also
drama,
kind of
man.
American football. It's just like 35-28.
Well, look at basketball too.
Yeah, and then it's
98 to 105.
Well, then a soccer thing is like, wow, that was really close. It was like 0-1 or 0-0 or 1-1 or 2-1 or it's these like really score. A cricket, those guys were up. I think it ended today 100
like 2,000 to 1,500.
It was 105 to like 109.
Is that close? Is that who knows? Who knows what that?
All I know is one team got more than the other, so they
won. They both got a lot. They both got a lot.
Yes.
You both did a good job.
Yeah. Hey, I had like
Oh yeah, go ahead.
No, I was going to tell you right before we had dinner. You've been to my place, and you know that it's kind of in this like secluded area, off the beaten track, and the thing.
Yes, it's called Nynäshamn.
Right, and Nynäshamn is secluded. Our place is like secluded within secluded. It's like the box within the box. All of a sudden, right, we're getting ready for dinner, and I hear helicopter. And occasionally they have helicopters that fly overhead. Sometimes it's like the Swedish Coast Guard, going.
For sure. Yeah.
So, occasionally you hear it. But this one got really, really loud and stayed really, really loud.
Like a police helicopter.
It was a medevac. It was a medevac helicopter.
Yeah.
And we have
that all the time.
Yeah, and we have a little park by the house. So right up the hill from us, there's a kids park, and that's where the helicopter will land if he has to pick somebody up in this area.
Okay, because there's space.
Exactly. There's like a fairly open field, but there's still trees and stuff around. And it's not the first time it's happened. I think since we've lived here, it's probably happened like maybe 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
But there was something about helicopters that just grabbed it's like the little boy in me came out, because dinner is pretty much ready, and Lena is we're helping each other with the dinner. She's like, well, we're going to do this, and I know that the helicopter's up there, and I know it landed, so I keep on like tippy-toeing over to the window and looking out the window. Like,
I love it.
Like really obviously to make sure that she knows that I'm interested in the helicopter out there, and that if given the chance, I would probably out the door, run up the hill.
Eat by yourself. I'm gonna go check out. I think I can drive it. I can fly it away.
Hey, but that wasn't really working, because she was like, well, do you think we should cut it, or should this pork loin that we have, should we cut it, or should we leave it inside the thing? And I'm starting to get antsy. I'm kind of.
I think we should hover it. We should hover it for a while.
But I keep running to the window, and finally I was just like, can I just, can I go up to, and she was like, go.
Oh my God, that's so good.
So I walk up the hill. The helicopter is in the middle of this field. There are apartment buildings kind of on one side, and then forest on the other. It's a really strange visual to see that bright neon green yellow helicopter just kind of parked in the park. And
they're a lot bigger when you see them next to stuff. Normally they're like a little dot in the sky making noise,
My first inclination was to take my phone out. I'm like, I'm going to get because I'm going to get a video, I'm going to take a picture, and I'm going to
the big news event down in Nynäshamn.
Oh, but I'm thinking,
the helicopter has
I'm like, this is going to be great. And I could do slow-mo, and I could do like that wide angle, and I could do
I've got stuff for TikTok. I've got stuff for Snapchat. I've got stuff to send to the local for like reporter on the scene.
Yeah. Rodney. And then it kind of hits me that they're there because it's a medical emergency.
Yeah.
So.
And it's got to be pretty bad because those things are expensive.
Yeah, and then you start thinking, well, do I really want to be the guy
who's like taking a selfie, like
standing there taking movies and videos, and then I realized that it was me and two little kids that were standing there. Everybody else had kind of, they stayed in their apartments or stayed back. So
well, that's the American in you. Come on.
Yeah, but
man, we get those things all the time because we're, from a flight path perspective, we're across the street from the Södermalm Hospital.
That's right.
So that thing's going all the time. So
yeah.
Down out to the archipelago and all sorts of stuff.
Right.
Things always running. Then we like every now and then you see like a tourist helicopter going over. Like they're always hovering over the port, like where the Viking cruise line is.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's where they take off or whatever, but they must get good views of Gamla and all that kind of thing.
Yeah, and then you sent a picture of the balloons.
The balloons. We saw the balloons. That was crazy, man. And it, like, I had seen on Instagram, it's something about, like, because we can't have culture night this year because of COVID.
Yeah.
They were bringing culture to Stockholm by doing it. So the 4 hot air balloons, 2 of them were chase balloons. So they had the cameras and all the photography equipment in there.
Okay.
And then the other 2 balloons had, like, stuff hanging off of them because there were acrobats just like jumping out of the balloon and then like doing flips, like swinging underneath this hot air balloon. I'm like, man, you gotta be some kind of crazy to pull, like, even attempt that stuff. Like, I know there's probably a wire connected to their waist or something, but man, you're doing backflips in midair off a hot air balloon. Like, what couldn't go wrong?
Hey, you could put a parachute on me and tie me to the ground. I would still not do any acrobatic. I don't care if the balloon basket is still on the ground. I still wouldn't be doing any. The only acrobatic thing I would be doing is running away from the hot air balloon. I would not be going anywhere near that.
Well, I mean, I don't know. For me, do a hot air balloon ride, that's still a bucket list thing for me. Like when I lived outside of Philly in the burbs, we it was this random farm in the middle of the town, and my mom boarded her horses there. And always, it was like these massive, like 40-acre pasture or something like that. And the hot air balloons would always land there because that, like the helicopter in the kids park, that had the most space. So then they would always, I don't know if they do it here, but they probably can't do it in Sweden. But apparently they would always give a bottle of champagne to whoever's property they landed on. Be like, hey, thanks for letting us not die,
Wow. Okay.
Space to land.
Okay.
So yeah, every time a hot air balloon would land, they would get a free bottle of champagne. So I'm like, they all got champagne up there somewhere. That's got to be a good time.
Yeah. Start like cutting into your lawn. Land here, please. Please.
Yeah, only if you have Perrier Joulet, though. Yeah, forget about it.
I'm pretty sure that they might still have them. I just haven't been back in so long. But Napa, up in the California vineyards, I'm pretty sure that they had.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that they had hot air balloon rides up there.
That would be amazing.
Yeah.
Well, now before we go any further, I do need to go to. We have Sean's rant corner. We have Rodney's rant corner. We have Rodney's correction corner. Now we have Sean's correction corner.
Ooh.
Yes. It was pointed out to me in no uncertain terms that I have inappropriately described a situation in the last episode that needs to be clarified.
Okay.
Now, this correction happened while I'm on the couch chilling. It's after dinner. It's like, okay, let's decompress. It's like Wednesday night, Thursday night. And then all of a sudden I hear, by the way, this didn't happen like that. And I'm I couldn't help but just bust out laughing, like out of nowhere. This is the correction. And the correction is, I need to say for the record, my wife does not scream on the phone on the train. In fact, she prefers not to take any calls while on public transport.
Okay.
But she specifically will not be the crazy lady screaming into her cell phone on the train. Now, 20 minutes ago, when she's talking to her family, she like screamed into my ear hole when she turned to tell me something because she's screaming at her family on the phone. But she was quick to own that. She's like, no, when we're at home, of course I scream on the phone. That's what we do.
Okay. But she wanted to clarify that not on the train. Okay. Yeah. Well, it's nice to have you actually come up with a correction, because it feels like we should just have a corner designated for Rodney's corrections.
Well, I'm sure we have a bunch of corrections coming to us after all of our descriptions of cricket.
Oh,
blokes, that's not that's not how I feel it.
Yeah.
Some of our guests in past episodes are going to be getting ready. Oh, here we go.
Here it comes.
Get
Ping,
in the comments section.
Pling, 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 pling. I was going to tell you, Adrian is going to be. He has guard duty at the castle, or I don't know if you would call it guard duty. There's no real. Yeah, he's going to be at the castle.
Hold on. Let's run that sentence back.
Yes.
Adrian has guard duty at the castle.
Yes.
What?
Yes.
What is this? This is.
Well,
first of all, what castle, and what is he guarding? I have to know.
He's like guarding the castle. He had, and I'm going to say guard duty because I can't think of if there's okay. I'm going to get it. I'm going to get it primed for Rodney's correction next week.
Oh yes.
But I was away when Adrian, because the soldiers, they all take turns doing guard duty somewhere along the line, typically when they start. And I was, and he got it in December when I was back in the Bay Area.
Yeah, I remember that. He was at like somewhere here in Gamlistan, right?
Mm-hmm. And Lena took videos, and there were some pictures and stuff like that, but I missed it. And now I just found out that he is going to be at the castle today until Wednesday, I believe. So on Tuesday, I'm going to head over there, and I get to see him like changing of the guard and stuff. It's going to be cool. Looking forward to that.
Now, does he have to? I know the uniforms are totally different. They wear more like military dress, right?
Yeah.
They don't have to wear like ridiculous Buckingham Palace furry hats and all that. But do they have to like stand there and like not say anything?
Pretty much.
This is we're talking about TikTok. This is some TikTok gold opportunities right here.
Yeah.
Hey, Adrian.
No. No. It's I'm gonna be good, but I'm looking forward to going and seeing him and.
Yeah, that's got to be pretty wild experience as a dad, man.
Filming some clips. Yeah, he sent a picture this afternoon in his uniform, all dressed up, because the last one was during the winter, so he had like the whole big winter guard.
Oh yeah, for sure. So which castle by the end?
The one with the king in it. The
Drotting.
No, that one is like the second castle.
That's what I mean. Like I know there's like the official. They don't. There's like the actual house that they live in. Then there's the official castle. Then there's like, oh, that's our like weekday castle. We go there just kind of take a load off. You know what I mean? Forget about it. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. All I know is it's the big one, and Lena's going to tell me where to go. So.
Oh man, we were primed for a Rodney's correction corner on that one, but I like this save.
Yes, sir.
Hey man, I gotta tell you, like we were complaining the other week about losing our summer, but we are in perfect Swedish September weather right now.
Yeah.
The first 2 weeks of September. The second 2 weeks are always you've gone off the cliff, now you're in fall, man. Here come the clouds, here comes the rain, and the temperatures be dropping. But we have one more week. Next weekend is supposed to be like high of 20, mostly sunny, and this weekend was quite nice. And I'm watching these weather reports like, man, tomatoes, you better get red or get out. Like you got a limited amount of time, my friends, and then everything's dying.
Yeah. Well, we went ahead and packed everything. So everything in the backyard is packed up and put away.
What about Duchess?
And winterized. Duchess got her little Weber coat, so she is. I probably have to give it one good cleaning though before winter sets in. And I'm heading back to the San Francisco Bay in a little over 2 weeks. So
that's right.
Yeah. So
Get ready.
I'm looking for a little bit of warmth, a little California heat.
Yeah.
All right, everyone, that will do it for this week's episode. As always, thank you so much for tuning in. Be sure to head on over to our Instagram page, check out all the crazy stuff we got going on, and then come back here next time for more Two Guys, Three Crowns.